Hello, everyone. With us today, we have Cynthia Soszka. Welcome, Cynthia.
Hi, Carla,
Thank
and
you for
everyone.
being here. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so I am a psychic and intuitive healer, and I really like to help women who are struggling with chronic fatigue figure out the source of their chronic fatigue and eliminate it. So, really focusing on where the problem is coming from so that we can take care of it and you can have your energy and your passion for life back.
Wow. And what started you on your own personal healing journey?
I actually had a crazy severe food allergy back in 2011 that caused my body to go on high alert, and I was sort of allergic to everything and having a lot of health issues. And I didn't know what was going on, and it was really, really scary. And that's how I wound up getting into this, is just trying to find my way in that sea of confusion and frustration.
Wow. And what inspired you to take control of your health?
Well, so when that happened, I went to see an abundance of doctors, my primary care physician, an allergist, an ear, nose, and throat specialist. I had ultrasounds done on my thyroid and just all the things. And none of the doctors knew what was wrong with me. They did a bunch of tests and they couldn't find anything, and they had no idea. And I realized then that I really needed to take control of my own health, and I needed to be my own expert because I realized that the doctors don't live in my body. They couldn't possibly know what's going on minute to minute inside of me. And I've always been really intuitive. Even though I didn't call myself a psychic when I was younger, I've always been very empathic. So I feel other people's feelings. Didn't know what that was when I was younger, but eventually figured out what an empath was and why I always felt other people's feelings around me. And so as part of really stepping into my intuition and learning that I actually had all the answers inside of me, that was when I decided, like, I'm going to listen to myself. I'm going to pay attention to my body. I'm going to hear my intuition. I'm going to stop allowing all the noise in so that I can hear myself. And I took my power back. So that's one of the reasons I'm super excited to be here today, because empowerment really was the key to my healing. Just realizing that I had everything I needed inside me to find the answers and to fix the problem and to get my health back and then regain my energy and passion for life. That's how I did it. That's the main key here, is empowerment. So I love that you're doing this, and thank you so much for having me here today, Carla, because I'm really
Oh,
excited to share my story with other women and help them gain this power for themselves and know that they can heal themselves too.
what would be one thing that you could tell them to really start with the empowerment part? What was most empowering to you when you were first realizing that you needed to listen to yourself?
So really knowing just knowing that you can heal and that you do have the answers within you. That's really what it takes, because if you don't believe that, if you don't actually have that belief in your head, your soul, your body, if you don't have that belief, you won't take the steps that you need to take in order to heal. So let me give you my confidence in knowing that you can heal yourself and knowing that you have what takes inside of you, and give that confidence to you so that you know it's possible. Because once you believe it, once you understand that it's possible, then you can go do those things that need to be done. So, for instance, just switching out some of the things that you do in your morning can make a huge difference in your healing. So, if you're eating eggs and avocado toast and coffee for breakfast every morning, those things are actually really, really impacting your health, because first thing in the morning, your liver needs glucose. It's been cleaning up during the night, all the toxins and all the foods that you've got in your body. It's cleaning up. And first thing in the morning, it needs glucose, which is its energy source, its source. It needs that to finish the cleaning. So if you start putting in fats and caffeine, which will have an effect on your adrenal glands. If you start putting that stuff in first thing in the morning, it's going to stop the detoxification that your liver is doing, and it's going to sort of drag you down. What you really need to start your day with is fruits. That's full of the glucose that your body actually needs to heal itself. So if you even just stay fat free and eat only fruits in the morning, up until noon, you're going to give your body an extra like 4 to 5 additional hours of detoxification, which is going to help immensely in the healing process. Because at the end of the day, our bodies know how to heal themselves, literally, like cuts, bruises, bumps. And, like, think about it. When you were a little kid and you fell down and you scraped your knee, you didn't go to the doctor to get healed. Your mom put a band-aid on it and then your body healed itself, right? So our bodies are meant to heal themselves. Literally, that's what they're meant to do. And people forget that when they start thinking about chronic illness, because it feels so like broken from the source, because we don't recognize what the source of it is. It's not like, oh, I bumped my head and now I have a bump and now I know where it came from, right? But when we have chronic illness, we don't really recognize the source of the chronic illness. And so just being able to recognize that, or being able to find it, and that's one of the things I help people do, is find the source through my psychic readings. I do intuitive health readings where I scan the body and that sort of thing. So helping them find the source and then eliminating it. So as long as you can believe and then make some subtle changes, like, I mean, that's not really a difficult change, right? To go from coffee, eggs, and toast to a fruit smoothie. It seems like a very small thing, but it's actually going to make a huge difference in your healing, because it's going to allow your liver to detox more. It's going to add in healing foods, and it's going to remove troublemaker foods all at once with one simple change. So yeah, I mean, it can be that simple. Now, of course, there are people who have bigger health problems and it's going to take more than that, but that's just one simple thing that you can start doing today or tomorrow if you've already had your breakfast, that can help you really get on the path towards healing.
Wow. And when you've done this, not only with clients, but with yourself, what are some things that you have seen happen as you start with even the smaller steps when people don't do the eggs and the avocado toast and the coffee in the morning, where they've switched to the fruit smoothies? What are the kinds of things that they see in their health and in their energy?
Yeah, so I will say, if you're taking out coffee initially, you're going to find it harder because the coffee was giving you a false sense of energy. So some people, when they cut out coffee, they start getting headaches and they have really low energy. But once you get past that, if coffee wasn't your issue and you were just having avocado toast and eggs, and you switch from that to glucose or a fruit smoothie, what you're going to notice is you have more energy automatically right away. Your brain is more clear. You can do better work in the morning. Like, you feel like your brain is just firing on all cylinders. It's completely different when you're bogging your body down with fats, because the fats are clogging up your blood and making it hard for your liver to detox. And it's also making it hard for your heart to pump. But when you clear that up, when you thin up the blood, it just flows so much better through your body and into your brain. And the glucose is going to your brain as well, because your brain also needs glucose. Um, it's just, everything works better. Like, literally everything, all the processes in your body are working better. Your digestion is better. Your thinking is more clear. You've got more energy. And that's just a few, right? I mean, there are so many other processes. Like, there are billions of processes going on in our body every single day
Right.
without us even thinking about it, right? We are not saying heart pump or lungs go in and out and breathe. Like, we're not telling our bodies to do any of this, and it's doing it all on its own. So that simple change will affect all of those processes, because it's all connected. Like, our body is connected to our mind, is connected to our spirit. And this is something maybe a little bit off topic, but I talk about it a lot, in that our body is the gateway to our spirit. Because a lot of people who have eaten a sad diet their entire lives, which is standard American diet, it just happens to be SAD, sad. But people who have eaten a sad diet their entire lives don't even realize that they're actually tamping down their intuition. they're making it so that it's not clear, it's not coming through, they can't hear it. Even if they're trying to listen, sometimes they have trouble hearing it because of the things that they've got going on in their body. They're just clogging up all the pathways, right? The energy isn't flowing the way it needs to flow. And just changing your diet can change that entirely, right? It really is the gateway to your mind and your spirit, because not only when you start eating differently, it's going to change your thoughts are actually going to change. You might go from having a lot of guilt or worry or fear to like happiness and joy and bliss. Like those things can be found when you change the way you eat. They really are connected. And then, like I said, being able to tune into your intuition. So the body is the gateway.
Wow. And what's the process you went through to heal your fatigue, your chronic fatigue and your fibroids and your food allergies?
Yeah, it's been the same process for all of them, which is really interesting because you would think like, oh, those are all very different things. Why wouldn't you need a different process? But in reality, our bodies work the same way, and we get disease because of similar issues, and they just show up in different ways because of the particular exposure we might have. Like if it's a particular environmental toxin, might affect my uterus versus um, my energy, right? So it can be different based on the toxin, but the process that I use is a very simple 5-step process. Now, when I say simple, it might not necessarily be easy, right? Simple and easy are different. So
Yes.
very simple, not necessarily easy. However, that's why we have support. Um, but number one basically was believing and tuning into my intuition and listening to my body. And when I started out, sorry, when I started out, I actually started writing down everything I was eating. My allergist had given me an elimination diet, basically he called it the caveman diet, which basically removes anything you could potentially be allergic to, even things like strawberries and nuts, right? So like I was basically eating fruits, salads, and rice and chicken for in my entirety of my day, right? So I had started writing down all the foods that I was eating, how I felt when I ate them, like what my mood was, if I had any digestive issues, that sort of thing. And then like toxin release, so bowel movements
Mhm.
and urine, right? So that's what I did. I started tracking, and that's how I listened to my body initially, because I wasn't tuned into my intuition very well back then, because like I said, the body is the gateway, and I was still all clogged up with things in
Right.
the first time around. So that was step number one, was really tuning in, really listening. Gosh, I'm sorry. Really tuning in, really listening, and understanding what was going on in my body. That was number one. Then number two was I had to remove all the environmental toxins. I knew, like, I have a degree in environmental resource science, and I've studied our resources and sort of what's going on in the world and with our earth and why everything is so sort of messed up right now. And
Mhm.
I had a very strong knowing in my body that this was because of environmental toxins, and I knew that I could get rid of them. So I scoured my house basically. Like I got rid of everything. I got rid of shampoo and soap and laundry detergent, and I switched it all out for the cleanest thing I could find. Even if it wasn't perfect, I just switched it out for the cleanest thing I could find. I changed my water, which was a huge deal for me in all of those scenarios, by the way. The water I was drinking out of a cooler with like, getting cleaned monthly with a chlorine solution,
Mhm.
um, fluoride in the water. I found lead in the water, like so many
Oh
things.
gosh.
So air and water are like the two top things that you need to check for, and then all the products that you're using, right? So that was number two. Number three was then I started adding in the healing foods. And I think I did this backwards. I actually removed the troublemaker foods before I added in the healing foods. But now I know better. And the way that I teach it now is to add in the healing foods first and then remove the troublemaker foods, because it's a lot easier game, right? It's so much
Right.
easier to add in the healing stuff than it is to take away everything you've ever loved to eat
Right.
and then expect yourself to be okay with it. So that's step number three, is add in the healing foods and remove the troublemaker foods. And when I say healing foods, I mean like fruits and vegetables and leafy greens and herbs. Those are the healing foods. We really need more of that. And if we can focus on that, your your health is going to skyrocket compared to where you are now if you're eating a standard American diet. And then removing troublemaker foods is, some of it's well known, but some of it is not. So most people know like getting rid of gluten and dairy are helpful, right? Yes, those are helpful, but also things like eggs. Like people don't realize that eggs are such a big deal for our health, and not in a good way. Like yes, eggs are nutritious. Yes, eggs used to be really healthy for us. But today, where we're at in this day and age right now, eggs are not healthy for us because they feed viruses and bacteria that live in our bodies. And we don't want to feed them. We want to get rid of them.
Right.
Now, we do have good bacteria and bad bacteria. So there is that, I will say, but we don't want to feed the bad bacteria and we don't want to feed the viruses, right? So eggs are like the number one thing that feed them. So if I could have you do just make one change, I would say stop eating eggs. Like that would be a great change. And if you're eating eggs every day or even every other day, you'll see a marked improvement in your health, even if you just stop eating eggs, right?
Oh, wow.
Okay, so so eggs, gluten, dairy, canola oil, MSG, artificial colors, flavors, I had a yellow dye number 5 allergy because I have a specific petroleum story that I don't know if I'll share with you today, but I I ate tar when I was younger, when I was little, like 5 years old. So that's why I have a petroleum allergy. Yellow dye number 5 is made from petroleum.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, a lot of people don't realize, but dyes are petroleum based. A lot of the really bad ones are petroleum based. So those kinds of foods is what I'm talking about when I say removing troublemaker foods. And this information, the fact that viruses eat, actually comes from the medical medium. And a lot of the work that I do involves his protocols. And then next is cleansing the body. Step number 4 is cleansing the body. So recognizing that all the toxins that are coming at us all day, every day, like the ones I talked about in our air and our water and our products,
Yeah.
getting rid of all that stuff is very important, and helping our bodies detox, because our livers are made to detox for us. Our livers do the major detoxing, and our lymph system does the minor detoxing. But both of those get clogged up when we've got more toxins coming in than we've got going out. So we need to make sure that we make it balanced, right? We need at least as much to go out as we've got coming in. Otherwise, we've got a problem and our bucket is filling up. Our liver is like a bucket, right? It
Mm,
can only hold so much and then it starts to overflow. And when it
right.
starts to overflow, that's when you get the situation that I had back in 2011 where I had severe food allergies, and your body is just going to react to every little thing you eat, every little thing you do, every product. Like you're going to be sensitive to essential oils even, and candles, and I mean chemical allergies you'll wind up with once your liver fills up and starts to overflow. So cleansing the body is step number 4, because we want to get that stuff out. And there are some really great ways to cleanse your body and some really bad ways to cleanse your body. So the bad ways are, sort of you get that like a colon cleanse powder where you've got like this powder you mix with water, you drink it, and then things flush out.
Hmm.
That is a very bad way to do a cleanse. So please, please don't do a cleanse like that. That's
As you kill your
actually,
good bacteria.
yeah, well, it's just what happens is you end up shoving all the toxins out, and then they're roaming around your body and your liver can't keep up. Your liver
Oh,
can't get
gosh.
rid of it fast enough. And so your liver just is overwhelmed and your body starts freaking out. And that's exactly what I did just before my yellow dye number 5 allergy. So I did one of those cleanses, and this is what happened to me. So when I say cleanse your body, I mean, let's use a very gentle cleansing process. And the one that I use is a 369 cleanse that's put out by the medical medium. And there are different versions. There's an original version, an advanced version, and a simple version. And I've used all 3, and they're amazing. And they don't put your body into this high state of freak out
Right.
like I like to call it. They're very gentle. They work with the rhythm of your liver. You make changes in patterns of threes because your liver actually uses this pattern naturally in threes. So it's very gentle on your body, and this is the way to do cleansing. Like I
Okay.
would, I don't like any other type of cleansing, honestly, because I've tried a lot of them and they just don't work, or they cause additional trouble that you don't need. So that was step number 4. And then step number 5 is supplementation. Adding in healing supplements can be really beneficial, especially if you've done all the other stuff. But I don't recommend doing supplementation up front unless it's something like zinc or B12. Those things are really important for your immune system and your detoxing processes. And so those you can do up front. But when you start adding in more things like cat's claw or lemon balm, those sorts of things, they can cause additional healing reactions if your body isn't ready for them. And I've experienced this myself, which is how I know, which is why I teach it this way. Um, so yeah, just basically holding off on the supplements until you've done all the other things, and then bringing them in slowly with time. And I like to do it in a very scientific approach, right? So, like I told you, I have a degree in environmental resource science. So, I am a scientist at heart, even though I'm pretty woo, I am a scientist at heart. And I really like to do things in stages. Like, even with my elimination diet, I was very specific about how I did it. I cut everything out, and then I would try adding foods back in for 3 days and see what happened. And I would always notice a big change when it was a food that I knew I shouldn't be eating. Um, and so, same thing with supplements. You don't want to add in 4 supplements at once. You want to add them in one at a time and give it a week and see how your body feels. And then add in the next one and give it a week and see how your body feels. And don't start with, the biggest amount. Start with what's on the bottle, what the bottle actually says to do, and see how you feel. Some of the medical medium protocols call for more than what's on the bottle. And so I would never start there. That's just not a good way to go. You need to start slow and move up. I'm a very big fan of slow and steady wins the race. Right now, there are a lot of people out there who are like jumping into this healing and sort of diving in headfirst. Like, I'm going to do all the things. I haven't been doing anything for my health. And like now I have this big healing crisis and I'm just going to try and do all the things, and they end up making matters worse for themselves because they wind up getting all these healing reactions because their body's like, oh, you're giving me all this healing stuff and now I can finally get rid of all this. And when your body gets rid of all that and it's sort of roaming around your body on its way out, it can create some problems. So slow and steady wins the race. Honestly, like that's how I did it in all of my healing situations. Slow and steady wins the race. So that's my 5-step process, and I'll review it one more time just because I know I talk a lot.
Okay.
So number 1 is listening to your body and your intuition and knowing that you can heal. Number 2 is removing the environmental toxins, air, water, all the products. Number 3 is adding in the healing foods and removing the troublemaker foods in that order. Add in healing foods first and then remove troublemaker foods. And then cleansing your body, and then adding in healing supplements. So that's my 5-step process right there in a nutshell. Basically, that's what I teach, and that's what I use in my 90-day guys medicine program.
Wow. So you're using knowledge, experience, and your healing gifts to just guide people through this. What programs do you offer if somebody is ready to work with you?
So that is my main program. I have 2 things that I offer. I do intuitive health readings, and that's just a 60-minute reading with somebody where I connect to their energy and then I feel that energy in my body so that I can help determine what the major blocks to your health are. Because what ends up happening is I feel and I ask spirit, source, whatever you want to call it, I ask specifically to be shown the things that are blocking your healing. And so I generally get 2 to 3 hits on what's blocking, and I feel it in my body. And then I basically say, this is what I'm feeling in my body. Let's talk about this. And let's talk about how we can fix that block, or how we can clear that block up, how we can eliminate it. Sometimes it's emotional, or sometimes it's energy that I can clear right away, like immediately within the reading. And that can be really helpful because sometimes those are the things that people don't realize are there, right? Like they might have a ton of grief stored up that is literally blocking their healing, but they don't know. Or they could just have energy blocks from like an old accident or something that occurred 20 years ago, and they just still have this energy block in there, but they don't realize that can sometimes be cleared up right away in our reading. And then for the other stuff that's more physical that can't be cleared up immediately, that's when we go into nutrition guidance and lifestyle guidance that I give in this 60-minute call. And so, yeah, that's just my intuitive health reading. And then on top of that, my other program that I mentioned earlier is my 90-day Gaia's Medicine coaching program. And it's a one-on-one coaching container where I work with you or whomever one-on-one and take you through these 5 steps of healing that I just talked about, basically.
Wow. And if somebody's ready to work with you, how can they get a hold of you? What's the best way to contact you?
There are so many ways. The best way is to probably send me a private message either through Facebook or Instagram. My Instagram account is Serenity Warrior Mama, and my Facebook, I have a Facebook group, like a private Facebook group, and you can get there by going to thewarriorsnetwork.com. It will forward you to my Facebook group. And if you join that, or if you just follow me at Cynthia Soszka in Facebook, you can private message me there. Or like I said, on Instagram. I do have a website now, which is new. I just I just unveiled it a
Mhm.
couple days ago. And excuse me, that is gaiasmedicine.com, GAIAS medicine.com. That's my website. And then I also have a YouTube channel. So if you want to hear more about what I do, if you want to just watch some videos talking about what I do, I've got some really great videos out there on the cause of chronic fatigue and how to get rid of it. And I even have videos on weight loss because that's a question that I get asked a lot of times. So I have videos on that. I've got videos on all different aspects of chronic fatigue as well. So, and that channel is if you go to youtube.com/ the at symbol Warriors Network, that'll take you to my YouTube channel. So lots of ways that you can get in touch with me.
Wow. Thank you. And you gave a free gift for anyone that is part of the series. Tell us a little bit about the free gift. I know it's a lot to do with what you just talked about.
Yes, yes. This is something I just created and I'm super excited about it because I finally have a way to get this information to people in like a cohesive guide. It is called the Gaia's Medicine Guide, and it's a 20+ page guide that basically describes to you how that healing process that I just talked about, steps 1 through 5, and how to do it for yourself. So, if you're not ready to hire somebody for support, if you need to do some steps on your own first, like some of the adding in healing foods and removing healing foods, if you're just getting started and you're totally new to this stuff, this is a great place to start and it's completely free. And so I'm super excited about it because when I post on the internet or if I do a video on YouTube, it's like a piece of it, right? It's just in pieces. And this makes me so happy to have it all in one place. So somebody can literally just read it from beginning to end and be like, okay, I know what I need to do and just go do it. And then, when you get to that place where like, okay, I've tried all these things and some of it worked or some of it didn't, or I'm struggling here with this food in particular, like how do I cut out salt? Because let me tell you, salt is difficult to cut out, I will admit. um, when you start to struggle with those things, that's when you can come to me and say, hey, I'd really like some support. Maybe we can do a 60-minute intuitive health reading, or maybe I'm ready for the Gaia's Medicine 90-day coaching program, right? So this guide is a really great place to start for somebody who's just getting into this and just learning that they can heal themselves and they're really ready to take control and power back in their lives. It's so amazing. Like I can't even tell you how amazing it is and how excited about it I am. Like I really am very excited to have this out there for people to benefit from for free.
Wow. Thank you so much for offering it to us and just for creating it for those of us that are ready. What is one thing that you'd like to leave everyone with on how they can empower themselves going forward?
I think, like I said earlier, the belief, knowing that you can heal, like really embodying and really thinking about all the things you've already healed in your life, like a broken ankle or um, cuts, scrapes, bruises. Like, think about it. When you break your ankle, you don't go to the doctor to have them heal it. They literally just put a cast on it so it can do its thing,
Right.
right? Like, just make a list of all the things that your body has healed and how amazing your body is. And just know inside that your body can heal itself. You just need to get rid of the source of the problem, which is either going to be an environmental toxin or the food that you're eating or severe stress. That can also be part of it. So just knowing, just really knowing in your heart that your body is meant to heal itself is going to help you take your power back, because you don't need drugs, you don't need doctors even. I mean, yes, they can help you, like take blood work, and they can help you with ultrasounds, and they can help you sort of narrow down the problem. But at the end of the day, you know your body better than anyone could possibly know your body. And you actually know the answers intuitively inside. So just knowing that, making that list, and then tuning into what your body wants, really just listening for it. And that requires a little bit of silence, right? Because we've got a lot coming at us
Right.
these days. So just really giving yourself some quiet time and some space to listen to your body and ask questions. Your body will answer. Ask questions. And maybe that was more than one, but
No, that was amazing. And I 100% agree. We have to ask, our body can tell us if we are able to sit down and just give ourselves that time and that space to do it. So thank you so much for everything. This has been amazing. Thank you for your free gift. And I have actually done a session, the 60-minute, and Cynthia's amazing. And she can, because healers also need to go to healers so that we can find the stuff that we don't see in ourselves. And so I'm just want to say she does do incredible work. And even if you just go to the guide to start out, you'll see a difference. You'll see a difference in your health. Thank you so much for
yeah.
coming today.
Thank you so much for having me, Carla. I'm so excited that I get to spread this information far and wide to all the people I know who need it, who are just looking for the thing that's going to move the needle for them. So I really, really appreciate you having me here today so that I can talk to more people. Thank you.
My pleasure.